Alright, for the last unit rate one we're going to do, we'll use a football example here. We'll say the Colts outscored the Vikings 21-3. Okay, so we have a ratio of for every 21 points the Colts score, the Vikings score 3. So if this ratio continues, I want to answer a couple questions. What's the score going to be if the Colts have 42? What will the Vikings have? And then if you don't know how much the Colts have, and the Vikings have 9, how many would the Colts have? So let's think about this here. I want to use unit rate. So we're going to start back at the beginning. We want to make one of these out of 1. So we're going to need to divide. So the obvious choice here is going to be to divide by 3. Okay, 3 divided by 3 is going to make that 1. 21 divided by the same number is going to make that 7. Okay. So basically what we're saying is that for every 7 points the Colts score, the Vikings score 1. Okay, so we could do this in a lot of different ways. Okay, one of the easiest ways that I like to do it is to make this chart, and we'll just do Colts, Vikings, and we know that our new ratio is 7-1. Okay, now you could just keep counting up by this particular number. I could do 14-2. I could do 21-3. Another 7 would be 28. Another 1 would be 4. 35-5. 42-6. Now that answers our first question right there. Okay. If the Colts scored 42, the Vikings, following the same ratio, would have 6. So I can put that one in there. That would work. Okay. That's one way we could do that problem. Now, if you don't want to make the chart out for that whole thing, and I don't really want to make the chart out for this very next part because I think it'll take a while, but let's look back at this one real quick here. Okay. If we know that if we don't know that this was a 6, because we didn't to start with, okay, the easiest way is take the numbers you do know. We know that we have to get from 7 to 42. Figure out how many times bigger that would be. Okay, 7 to 42 is times 6. So we just have to times the 1 by 6 also, and your answer would be 6. That would be a good way to do it. Now over here, it's going to be a little bit different. We don't know how many the Colts got, but we do know that the Vikings got 9. Okay, so let's look at our original ratio again here. Okay, I'm going to write it up here. We changed it from 7 to 1. Okay, so if we know the Vikings are going to eventually score 9 and the ratio is 1, to get from 1 to 9, that's just times 9. So if I times the other side by the same thing, 7 times 9 is going to be 63. So my answer would be if the Colts score 63, the Vikings are going to have 9. Now, I could do this and just keep following the same chart that I used, and it's going to work out just fine. Okay, I could keep going by 7s and going by 1s in this column. So I'd have 49 and 7. I would have 56 and 8, and then I would have 63 and 9. Now the last thing I want to do for this one is I want to do our checking step to make sure that we're correct. Okay. Now for this one I'm going to use tons of different things to check here. Okay. I'm going to start with the one we started with originally. Okay. We started with, what was it? Under these cross sets it was 21-3. So I'm going to start off with 21-3. Okay. Now I'm going to use my two new numbers we got. We got a 42-6, and we also got a 63-9. Now I'm going to divide all those out, and we would expect them to come up to the exact same thing. Now I don't really need a calculator for this. I know that 21 divided by 3 is 7. I know that 42 divided by 6 is 7. I know that 63 divided by 9 is 7. They're all 7, so the chances that we got this right are pretty high. Now, the only difference with this is the last time we divided, we got a decimal, and this time we got a whole number. It just depends on which number you put on the top and which number you put on the bottom. As long as you do it uniform throughout the whole thing, like this one, I put the Colts scores all on the top, and I put the Vikings scores all on the bottom. We could do it the other way, and it's still going to come out. It won't be 7, but all the numbers will be the same. So just keep that in mind as you go through these unit rate problems.